Hi, I'm Commander Burr.
And I'm Commander Rainey.
And you're listening to the Loose Screws podcast.
Why would someone do that?
I've really no idea.
Perhaps they're going to talk about honky donks.
It is March 5th, 2020. I am your host, Ty Worsham, and this is the Screw Loose. No, Loose Screws. Yeah, shit. Loose Screws. I don't think I've ever done that before. I just completely screwed it up, but we're going to leave it in because it's fun. So, with me this evening is my standard issue co-pilot, the one and only Commander Kai Zen. How's it going there, brother man?
Hello, brother. I am doing good. I am also a screw loose, and it's time to go.
Oh man, that's like music to my ears right there. I know it's probably just Diet Coke, but
I would never drink a Diet Coke. I would drink a Coke Zero, but I would never drink a Diet Coke.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm actually drinking right now. This is. I know people really give a shit. I'm actually drinking Mountain Dew Zero Sugar.
All right,
and it is pretty damn good. It's like in a cool black can, and I'm kind of a sucker for black, so.
Right
I bought it because of the black can, and here we go. So
there you go.
Oh man, it has been a very busy week for us. So let's kind of go over the distant screw stuff real quick.
All right,
and then we will pour into story time, and then we will go into some other stuff from there. But start off. This whole thing started, the ridiculousness started on March the 4th. Oh, let me start off by saying March the 4th was my sister's birthday. And I won't get to see her until like the 14th. But I know she listens to my show. Actually, I think she hits play and then fast forwards a little bit. So I want to wish her a happy birthday.
Happy birthday to Tyrval's sister.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think, don't ask me how old she is. She is 29. So anyway, the Distant Screws got kicked off this week, and that is our expedition. And we actually have datas on EDSM, by the way. And I want to go over the numbers real quick because I think this is so freaking cool. To date, we have 3,046 jumps, totaling 194,502 light years total distance traveled. 15,107 celestial bodies scanned, 221 celestial bodies mapped, which means nobody's mapping shit. I guarantee you 221, those are water worlds or Earth-like worlds you people have discovered. We have used 14,955 tons of fuel, and someone has fired 1,432 probes.
When you say someone has fired that many probes, you're saying one person fired that many probes, or
no,
people have fired? Because that would be a lot of probes for one guy.
Yeah, people have fired 1,432 probes.
Right on.
So I did the quick math on this, and I'm going to do it again because I forgot what the number was. So if you take the 1,432 probes and you divide it by, if you can hit the numbers right, divide it by 221. So that's average of 6.48 probes per planet. So that tells me that somebody is probably missing one every now and then, the way it sounds. So and when the cute little probe thing that you got to do, you launch one direct, you launch one up, launch one down, you do a little star pattern, and you get your 6 out and you win the game. That's how you win the game. But sadly, all of this is met with one sad thing. We have a commander death. We have one. We have 0 commander self-destructive. We have 1 commander death. And I would love to know who the commander was and how they died. I kind of want it to be Dubs.
There is no chance that it's Dubs, my friend.
Okay, there is a chance that it's Dubs because Dubs was jacking around on the very first night, like 2 hours in. He was jacking around with that damn neutron star. So it's possible it's Dubs. It's always possible. It's probably not Dubs, but it's possible it's Dubs.
Well, here's one thing we have to keep in mind. Some genius, it was me, had the idea beforehand. We all have a friend who is going through a bit of a hardship, and we as a group just decided that we wanted to sort of do a kindness, and we wanted to bring out rare goods that we were going to drop at Sagittarius Eye in dedication of the loss of a loved one of a friend of ours. And when I suggested this idea, as it was sincere and heartfelt, I forgot to remember the fact that means that many of our commanders who decided to take part in this little event are carrying rare goods, which makes them a target for NPCs along the way. So that death may be my fault. We'll have to get the skinny from. We'll have to talk to people and find out where did that come from exactly.
Yeah, I'm real curious, and if the listener is the one who died on the Distant Screws, hit me up either in game or on the Discord, or hit Kaya, because we would love to know who the hell it was. But I've been talking with Commander Fee this evening. He lives out in Colonia, and he made mention of the fact that as we get closer to Colonia, on the border systems of Colonia, we are probably going to be encountering some pirates along the way. So he mentioned that he has a vet. He'd be happy to do escorts in. He also said it might be in our best interest to wait for everyone to get there and everybody come in at once. It also might be a good idea that we go over to private group, typical survival type stuff. So whatever you think is best when you get in that area. Also, whenever you get in areas of like Eagle's Landing, places like that, places where there are stations, he said typically within a jump or two of those places, pirates will hang out and try to pirate you or even gank you. So, yeah. But as we get closer to Colonia, talk to your people and your friends, and let's try not to get anyone else to die. But if you are that one person that died, hit us up. We'd love to know who is the dead man. Who is the dead man walking? Man, how cool would it be if we had to could go out to that system and actually recover his escape pod? That'd be so cool.
That could be cool. That could be an interesting and dynamic new gameplay opportunity.
See, I think it'd be cool if you could fly back out there, recover your flight data or something, and get your exploration data back. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And to be clear, for the guy who had that sort of unfortunate rapid atomic disassembly of his ship, it doesn't stop you from hitting the waypoints and all. So get yourself up, dust yourself off. It's the first week of a 2-month journey. Maybe rethink some, ship choices. Make yourself a little sturdier. Maybe whatever the situation was. If you had a rough time with the neutron jump, go out to the lighthouse and do 4 or 5 neutron jumps. Go out there and just do a little kick around the galaxy and figure some stuff out. If you have a question, if you have a problem, reach out to us in Discord. Send me a private message anytime, 24 hours a day. We'll figure it out. I'm an atomically powered robot, so I'll be able to get back to you, no problem. Don't end a 2-month-long expedition because on day 3 or day 4 you had a bad situation. It might have just been dumb luck. Yeah. Get yourself, like I said, get up, dust yourself off. A man who will not stop cannot be beat.
Hell
so just
yeah.
Keep coming. If you just keep coming, you will succeed.
Yeah. Yeah. And on that note, man, I may not be always online, but I'm always available. You can always message me direct. And if I'm sleeping or at work, I will respond to messages. I do not know of a message that someone has sent me I have not responded to. And if you sent me a message and I didn't respond to, send me it again, because I guarantee you I'm just a freaking idiot. So is not because I'm trying to ignore anybody, except for maybe that one guy. But anyway, I'm talking about you, Kai.
Oh, right here.
I know, man.
All right.
The other bit of news I just found out, by the way, and I think it just went on sale today, is Planet Zoo is on sale for $35.99 this week. American dollars, not no weird teas per crumpet dollars that you Europeans use.
Teas per crumpet. Are you referring to guinea quids?
I don't like whatever the hell they use for money. I feel like they're just handing it like passing around pieces of metal or money. It doesn't even sound like it's a real thing. So
and I think in Europe they go by the euro.
The euro. Yeah.
Which if you get two of them and you hold them together, right? You
It's
can make
$1.
a euro pass, and then you can just drive around on the trains places. And then in England, I think they use the guinea quid system, which is like 8 halfpence to a farthing, and 4 farthings make a chicken, and 3 chickens make a pound, and 1 pound and 2 sixpence make a I don't know. Yeah.
So how many chickens is Planet Zoo at $35.99 American dollars?
I think it's probably 4 goats and a small duck. That's my best answer, and I'm sticking to it.
If I ever buy this game, I'm going to name my zoo 4 goats and a small duck. That's all I'm going to have, too.
So all joking aside, I have not played this game. I have not played any of the other games. But I did, in the 24-hour live stream, see some very, very cool little videos and stuff they were making. And then I watched a video of this one demented guy that made stuff with Planet Zoo, where it was like this horrific zoo where like they were drowning giraffes, and like they were dropping like animals from the sky onto people as they were walking through the concourse. And it was like he had a sign up saying like how many days since animal death, and it was always at 0. And
Damn.
So here's the thing. I mean, obviously that was silly, but a lot of the stuff that they do with Frontier, with those games, those Planet Zoo, Planet Coaster games, whatever, I think they're very like ecology minded and very like trying to like, I don't know, man. I think it's a good message. It's cool stuff. It looked neat from the stuff that I saw of them playing it. And so like, and I think if you are of a mind to try stuff like this, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the company that has a big update coming out sort of towards December-ish of this year, where there is a possibility of base building involved, that same company has a very strong track record of making excellent titles that do base building like Planet Zoo. Sort of in a different way. If you look at it with a different eye, it's basically base building. And so if you want to get a head start on figuring out how to do all that stuff while you, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was hilarious that where he was like, you know, hitting all of the people with sprinklers and dropping elephants on people and whatever. But like, if you were to do it seriously, I think that could be a cool thing, especially this game, Elite Dangerous, as I say often, it's not aimed at the children. It's aimed at the adults. If you can pick up a game at 70% off on sale, whatever, I don't know, whatever the sale is, 20%, 30, whatever. If you can pick up a game at a good deal that you can play with your kids, that teaches them stuff about ecology and neat stuff, and they get to see the animals. I think that a zoo in a video game is a very, very cool thing, because zoos in real life are sort of sad animal prisons. So if you do it like digitally online, I think we can maybe get rid of we can have more animals in their natural habitat. That would be cool. So like instead of just the sad animal prison, you can do a thing with your kid. It's on sale, and you get a head start on figuring out your angles on base building. You know, you could just make a little, like a llama hut or a little place for, you know, like, what are those little birds that they run around in the Antarctic? Penguins. Yeah.
Penguin.
You can make a little penguin exhibit, and in your mind, you're like, all right, this is where I'm going to set up my kill zone in case anybody comes to access my fortress and whatever. It's a fun thing you can do with your kids. And yeah, man, it looks cool. So yeah, awesome.
Yeah. And to me, Planet Zoo is the biggest example of what FDev can do with the Cobra engine, because it does run on the Cobra engine, or a heavily modified Cobra engine that Elite Dangerous does run on. And if there was evidence that they're going to mush the base building mechanics of Planet Zoo into Elite Dangerous, which we kind of think they're going to with the 2020 update, this is a very good place to kind of get a feel for it. I have not played this game. I do own it, which makes me sad. I caught it on a 30% off sale a few months ago, whatever. I do own it. Have not played it yet, but I plan, once I kind of get done with Distant Screws, I plan to basically spend a week and try it out, and just basically play that for a week. And I don't know, just see. I was really more interested in the Jurassic. Like, I like dinosaurs a lot, so I really want the dinosaur stuff to be better. But anyway.
Yeah, man. If I can have a moon base at someday with like 4 goats and a small duck, and also Tyrannosaurus Rex just kind of running around, I would be all for it. So yeah, let's get that going.
Oh my God, we missed the best opportunity. We should have called this podcast 4 Goats and a Small Duck. What the hell were we thinking with Loose Screws?
There's time to change. There's never too late. Let's do it. I'm with you. Let's jump off that cliff, Thelma and Louise style. Let's do it.
Anyway, so that was kind of the things I wanted to go over, aside from, let me go ahead and do new to Discord this week. And before I begin, if I mispronounce someone's name, I'm going to mispronounce someone's name. Go ahead.
If you want, I'll do the new to Discord, and then you can do the shout outs. You could just do cover some stuff that way, because I don't know, the names never bother me. But I'm down for whatever you want to do.
You know what? Go ahead and do the new to Discord, and then
all
we'll
right.
go from there.
So here we go. New to Discord this week. We've got Dr. Pimzo. We got Jeff Smithers. We got Digital Elite with he has Elite Speak, so you know he's cool. We got Land Before TMZ, Juicy Jams. We got Dragna Purek. We got R Trizzle 34. We got Virtus Verta. We got Total Romania. We got PGL Griff and PGL Nex Elder. We got Defiant, Okami, BDR Crazy. We got Transator. We got Lord Corruption, Nesumiro. We got Shiloh May, Sergeant Cluckers, Mooning, Tame 777. We got Qui-Gon Quincy. That's awesome right there. We got Bad Miker. We got Meroval. We got Old Man. We got Derek Jansen. We've got Andrew Perslow, a.k.a. Swoop Dog in the house. We got Eagle 131 of SPVFA and the Burr Pit fame. We've got Genghis Dan. We've got James Dean. We've got Laertis Wertna. And don't mess with him or you'll catch a legal filing. We've got Heavy Hitter, Demon Spawn 666, Hello Kitty, which is a hilarious name for an alt evil genius. We've got the Red Rickman, Keeper, Chronom, Jonathan Wolf, Richard Envy. I love that name. We've got Dog Dougie and DL Heidemann, who is the co-host of the Tone Control podcast with JN Tracks.
Hell yeah.
And lastly, but definitely not least, we've got Miguel Johnson, the famed composer of many a awesome Elite Dangerous album. And we'll be talking about that in the weeks to come.
Yeah. Man, and let me start off by saying that DL Heidemann, I believe Trax told me it was him that actually did the guitar to our opening intro. He did the that part.
It was in fact him. They were talking about it in comms today. They were talking about it in the channel when he joined, that he was shredding on that guitar.
Yeah, it was fucking badass, man. I mean, that is amazing. I mean, and here's the thing. I've actually been wanting. I have not seen. I've actually wanted to just like thank him. I thanked him on here a few times, but I always wanted to thank him personally because it was really awesome that he did that. And also, Mr. Miguel Johnson and his music, he was linking some of his albums earlier this week too. That's really cool that he hopped in here with us. I think he does a great work as well. So
yeah, my 3 favorite composers are my 4 favorite composers are Chopin, Ravel, Miguel Johnson, and Toko So.
Well, I think that's going to take us over to story time.
Do we want to make a blanket shout out real quick?
Go ahead, man.
A blanket Discord shout out goes to all of the awesome screwballs that are, as we speak, tearing up the galaxy from end to end. The jump off of that was amazing. Everyone flew off in 90 different directions. It was hilarious. We're screwy. That's how we do. And one last thing I want to give a shout out, and this sort of the last one, because everyone who has been listening to this and hearing it for like the last couple of weeks and are thinking like, oh, yeah, I'll get involved in that next week. Lieutenant Zephyr, the world's greatest shave. He's doing charity for the Leukemia Foundation. The link is in the show notes. This is the last week to get involved because the event itself is sort of ending next Thursday. So we put out the show. So I just wanted to make sure that we gave that a shout out. And also we always have to give a warm shout out to the Tone Control Podcast and jntracks.com for our awesome sound producer, JN Tracks, and third co-host of the show.
Yeah, he does the other show at the same time we do this show every other week. So my limited brain power sometimes make me forget that we should make sure that we acknowledge his existence from time to time.
Dude, we are a team, man. When you forget, I got you covered. And as we just found out like an hour ago when it came up, when I forget, you got me covered.
Oh yeah, okay. I did a good thing today then. All right.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
So I think that takes us into story time.
Yes, sir.
So last week, I've had a couple people ask about like the scavenger hunt style story time. We're probably going to have to not do those until we get back from Distant Screws because most of y'all are out here with us anyway. And it's hard for me to scout out places when I'm, 20,000 light years or so away. So,
but here's an idea.
Yeah.
This is just off the dome. So if it sucks, feel free to throw it out. But yeah, it literally just occurred to me now, like, oh yeah, we can't actually go to Dav's Hope or go to whatever because we're all over the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
I think what you should do instead is put out Ty spies with his little eye and then just literally say like, I'm looking for a ringed water world, or I'm looking for a weird geo site, or I'm looking for an ice planet that also has a ring or whatever, and then we'll collect awesome random just pictures from all over the galaxy of people that have something that meets whatever it is that you're calling out this week.
Oh, that's a great idea. I love that idea. Well, so that's a great idea. Like I can't say that enough because you come up with some damn good ideas. My idea was I was just gonna get you guys to take pictures of, hey, share your cool Distant Worlds pictures with me or some shit, On that note, I'm shifting gears a little bit here, but if you have share all of your screenshots with the group, put them into the Discord, the Advanced Distant Screws channel, and we just got a great big album growing there, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, man, people have been filling up both the Advanced Distant Screws channel and also the hashtag screenshots channel. Yeah. And I mean, I swear to God, I'm looking at screenshots here that are like, and I mean, I'm not a professional, so I probably shouldn't say this, but like, to me, this stuff looks like SPVFA level. And I'm saying this as a huge fanboy of SPVFA, but I'm looking at Demon Spawn, DJ Wiley, so many like amazing Patches McFluffy, Alec MCC, MCC XB1, James Dean, like Tatsuya, awesome picture. Gav Cook, man, that picture where he rolls up on the that crashed beacon thing on the SRV, like so many great shots.
Yeah.
Big Daddy GXX55. We definitely, Ty, have to put together an album at the end of this because, like, and I'm leaving out people because I just literally am calling out all the ones I'm seeing as I scroll up. Chig. If I keep scrolling up, there's more names to call, so I'm gonna just stop now. But like, we definitely got to make an album.
Yeah, and you know, I think it's Cooks and Alarcron, and I think a few others have actually linked pictures of their Distant Screws mug. Roy Cookson actually has one here with his I can't pronounce this, Chimay Grande Reserve.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that is. So
he's got himself a beer there.
Is that a beer? Is that what that is?
Chimay, yeah.
Okay, so if it doesn't say Budweiser, I'm not sure what kind. But Budweiser or Guinness, I don't know what the hell it is. So
did you see the Deep Screw mug?
Yes, where he replaced disses with Deep.
Yes, bro. Yes.
Let me tell you, I'm this close to making a new mug with Deep on it just for shits and gigs, man. So I'll tell you now, I might just like literally make it that ugly, like where you just use the tape and just kind of like don't actually make it look professional, make it look like it's just like meshed over it like that too. So
yeah, I mean it's legit. And just as a little hint in the future, if you're looking at it and you're like, what is that? When you click on it and you look on if you make it the picture bigger, when you see it says Chimay. At the top right corner there, it says ale. So that's a clue.
It does say ale. Yeah, I didn't know.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, that would have been the tip. I should have used my context clues and actually figured it out. But
and I love the name of the ship in the background there, Nataconda.
Yeah.
And the thing and the unit designation is D Screws.
Yeah. No, he man. Oh, that's so freaking cool.
Yeah, man.
This is one little story out of 1,000 of these that I just happen to be aware of that everybody is having and participating in. And one of my favorite things this week was when I logged on, and I got about 100 friends or something right now in game, and it's so cool to look on the galaxy map and you see where you're at, and you see 3 or 4 people behind you. You see 3 or 4 people in front of you, and you see just a crap ton within like 100 light years of you. And it's so cool to see all these green squares on the galaxy map, just like in a trail going toward Colonia. And it's really cool. And I know I got completely off on the Distant Screws thing again. I'm sorry. So
No, man. It's awesome. While we're doing that, I'm sorry. There's one shout out that I forgot to give on the shout outs, and this shout out must be given.
yeah.
Actually, I'm going to do 2 shout outs. Number one, I want to shout out to Commander Dubs, who literally for the last like 2-3 weeks solid has been helping people with builds and stuff every day, and like helping them with exploration questions and all kinds of stuff, because we have a lot of first timers out on this expedition.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, and I think the biggest shout out that I want to give this week, the huge shout out, I want to shout out JN Tracks for literally putting together all of these awesome waypoints that people are going all over the place and having these cool adventures. And I've seen, this is not like, oh man, I thought of this on my own. I'm plagiarizing now like 50 different people in our Discord today that were like, thank you so much, JN Tracks, for like putting these waypoints together. This is awesome. This is so neat. I would have never thought to come here, like I would have just headed towards Sag A and like, okay, I'll get there. But along the way, he put a lot of thought into the different things, and people are like, holy crap, I just saw this kind of those little, weird, I just saw a peduncle. I just saw, this awesome ringed, system. Or I just saw this. I just saw it. Like, he really did a lot for this. Thank you, Tracks.
Yeah. Now this is so I'm probably going to be I started the very first Distant Worlds, and I wasn't in Distant Worlds 2 because I was all searching for Raxla, but I did Distant Worlds 1 and got tired of it and came home because it was just too much at the point in my life. But anyway, I'm having more fun on this one because there's actually things to see. And I don't feel like Distant Worlds 1 had a lot of things to see. But anyway, I'm going to get back on story time. So,
Right on.
So story time, we went to Jackson's Lighthouse, and Jackson's Lighthouse is a great place where you can practice neutron jumping if you haven't done it, if you haven't left the bubble. And as someone who has died to a neutron jump because he was an idiot and lost his very first black hole exploration data in the process. I got it back though, but anyway, it was a very, very sad day for me. And I have a YouTube video I will happily share with anybody who wants it. I'm not going to upload it, but I will. It's on my private account. I will share it. I'm not going to put it on for all the world to see me screw it up, but I'll show it to the select few who messaged me and want to see it. So, so DJ Wiley checked in at Jackson's Jackson's Lighthouse first. Sixth Element, Alacron, Meg 81, Dubs, Kai, you got there, bud. Commander Lieutenant Commander Data, Commander McPherson, Big Daddy G, English Guy Ash, Smokey Samsung, and Patches McFluffy got their in today. And the person who won the light year jump range contest was Dubs. In his
Was there ever any?
Not particularly. No. He hit 335 and a half light year jump range, which for those who's counting, he can get all the way on one side of the bubble, target the far side of the bubble, and make it. So
And literally what he had to do is lower his fuel reserves to a point so that he could maximize the jump. He made the jump and then had no fuel. So then he had to call for a rescue. And somebody from our Discord came out immediately and fueled him up because he was stranded at that point. It was hilarious.
On the distance cruise note, should you get in a situation where you are damaged, have hull damage, or that you have fuel, you run out of fuel somewhere, don't just, self-destruct or don't give up. More than likely someone's close by and can come get you. We have, I have a ship that has a refuel module in it. I know Dubs took one. I know Fee has one. If you're closer to Colonia, I know Trax took one. Somebody in our group is close by and can come get you. So just let us know and we'll coordinate from there. So
if you have hull issues, if you have fuel issues, go into the Distance Cruise channel and then just put hashtag rescue call and then say, here's what you want to say. Number one, what platform you're on. Number two, so if you're on a PC, if you're on a PlayStation, or if you're on Xbox. Number two, your exact location, the location of the system and where you're at with regard to the main body in that system. And number three, if you're in a situation where you're low on fuel and it's going to be an issue, make sure that you log off and someone will coordinate with you in the Discord channel when they can get there. So, you can synthesize some emergency oxygen or whatever if you need to, but it's better to just log off, wait for them to be there, and then you can coordinate that in comms where, you work it out together and get you sorted. But there is definitely hope. There's definitely help on the way if you ask.
Yeah, don't give up. We always got ways. At the very least, talk with. We nearly have 300 people in this Discord. Somebody will be close by, and we can come get you. Like I said, just holler at us, and we can figure it out. So,
for sure, man.
So, one of the things I've never seen in game, I've only seen screenshots of, is a ringed Earth-like world.
Nice.
So that's the very first thing I want to see. That's the one planetary body I have never mapped that does not have my name on it. Now, I'm not saying I need that, but if you come across a ringed Earth-like world on your way to Colonia, show me some pictures. Show me where it's at, because I want to go take pictures of it. I've never seen one in game anyway. I've only seen pictures of it. I actually saw a picture of one once where it was a binary Earth-like worlds and each one was ringed. And what was really cool was one had a polar ring, and the other one had an equatorial ring. So they were kind of like, you looked at them at the right angle, they could actually plus each other. It was really cool. I saw it on Reddit a few years back. It looked really cool. I wish I knew what system it was. I'd go look at it again. But at any rate, if you happen to come across one, that's what I want to see. So that's how you win this week. That's the scavenger hunt this But I think that is going to be our story time for the week. What little bit of lore I'll give you here, and this is the cool thing about what I'm about to talk about, is going to be, this is actually all made by players. So I'm going to give you a very brief history of Colonia. And the coolest thing about Colonia is that this thing was founded by players. So the whole thing started when Jack Station, which is kind of I think he's a bartender that integrated himself into the AI of a station, and then he did a great big jump. There was a community initiative, I believe, or I think it was a community initiative to actually get him to jump out to see where he would jump to. And then nobody knew where he jumped to for a while. I think it was like a month or something. And then he was discovered by Commander Cly. Because I think Jack was originally going to jump out to Beagle Point, but they found him out there in EOL PROU RST D394. And that was the original designation of Colonia. And when they found him, the EOL Pro Nebula was submitted as a POI to the Galactic Mapping Project. And the most narrow sense, that's where Commander Aramis, I'm mispronouncing names here, Aramis Kamzel founded the name Colonia. And that's where they come up with it. And that's kind of how it all started. And it was all founded by people, which is one of the coolest things, I think, in any video game for them to do stuff like this. Sovereign was involved. Unrealization, Cohen Leth. These were all these were all members of the Colonia Citizens Network, the CCN. Mm-hmm. Went out there and they formed. They started bringing out colonists, and they started, trying to get more things going on. And then this all happened back in July of 3302. And then in December 3302, they formed the Colonia Council and set in plans to basically spread out and colonize the Colonia region, calling it the Colonia Expansion Initiative. And that's kind of how it all grew. There was a great big conflict on October 20, 3303. The Colonia region's reputation for peace was tarnished by its first notable conflict. A criminal-based organization out of the Carcosa system called the Nameless started attacking ships in the Colonia system. In response, the Colonia Council issued a call for aid from the galactic community to quell the insurgents. Likewise, the Nameless attempted to entice independent pilots to join their side and usurp the Colonia Council. By October 27th, the Colonia Council has successfully rebuffed the Nameless and restored order. December 7th, 3303, Pearl Harbor Day, by the way, after weeks of conflict in the Pleiades Nebula against the Thargoids, citizens of the core systems had been fleeing to the Colonia region in droves. This is back when everybody was really genuinely afraid of the Thargoids and people were leaving the core system. The people were leaving the bubble. The Colonia Council announced a campaign to establish multiple new outposts throughout the Colonia region to support the new arrivals and place an open order for construction materials at I'm mispronouncing the name here, Pilkington Orbital in Einherjar. I am mispronouncing names like crazy tonight, man. The campaign was successful, and planning for the construction of the new outposts was begun. December 29th, the Colonia Council reported that the number of refugees arriving in Colonia had skyrocketed in recent weeks, and the Thargoid attacks on stations in Pleiades had only accelerated the rate of immigration. Many immigrants made the trek to Colonia out of fear that the core systems were the Thargoids' next target. So, after starting in 3304, they started the whole infrastructure development project. This is where they started to get in some of the billionaires, the corporations, so that they could start getting some of the better modules and some of the better ships out that way for purchase. And then on August 28th, 3304, that's when Councillor Giselle Kingspear of the Colonia Council announced that 4 engineers established bases in the Colonia region to provide services for independent pilots. Now, if you don't have these engineers unlocked, like myself, this is going out with us with Distant Screws is a good opportunity to get them unlocked. I probably will not because I don't care, but I might spend some time actually working on them. I haven't quite decided yet. I think Trax actually is bringing the stuff out there to have them unlocked. And I believe the hardest one is going to be NTN Dorn with the, was it 25?
25 occupied escape pods.
Yeah, escape pods. Yeah, I'm not sure how to get that off the top of my head. I know how to get it, but it's like, that's a little weird, buddy. I don't know why the hell you want that. But that's the very brief history of Colonia. Colonia is one of these areas that was basically created by players. And there was a little bit of things that were, I don't know if FDev really intended it to be what it is, but it's pretty cool the way it's grown. I know when we talked with Suv, he wasn't real happy with how some of the things went down there. But I do know that I think it's really cool, and I don't know of another situation in any game where players made a region like this out of basically them doing things in an area. But I might be wrong.
I mean it's sort of on the rare end of the spectrum. I mean, you have some situations like Eve and Albion where you have sort of outposts that are out there, but yeah, it is definitely rare. So the entire story, I kind of laid back and listened to your telling of the story, which was great. I just want to highlight a couple of points.
Mm-hmm.
So Jacques, he's an interesting. The story of that character is super, super interesting, and Sagittarius Eye did an amazing, like the story of his life and an interview with him in universe lore, where you had an actor who was playing Jacques and talking about the different stuff. The guy was the story of this character is he was a guy that was conscripted against his will to join the Federation military, and he failed his he wasn't useful enough physical. He had some disability issues or whatever. So they sort of I don't know. I wouldn't say against his will, but they opted him into a program where they turned him into a cyborg, and they cybernetics, they enhanced the guy and turned him into this sort of elite fighting machine. So then he was part of an elite Black Ops squadron for the Federation called the Quintus 14s. And at the Battle of Hell's Gate, his unit was captured, and he was one of the few survivors. And the Empire took him. The Imperials took him as a POW, and while they had him, they sort of implanted a virus and some stuff into him, some dirty stuff. And then they wanted to give him back in a prisoner exchange, but the Federation smelled the trap, and they were like, nah, man, we're not taking him back. So he became this weird sort of no man's land guy who he had to work off his debts. And he got a job just as a bartender to sort of pay back his debts. And he just saved up money over time until eventually he owned the bar. And then eventually he owned the station that the bar was in. And he just kept plugging away and doing his thing, man. And like I said, man, a man that will not be stopped, a man that will not stop cannot be beat. and he just kept doing his thing. And so yeah, he had this crazy idea. He was going to jump out to Beagle Point, and the jump went wrong. And everybody in the game at the time knew that, okay, he's going to go to Beagle Point. We're going to look for him out there. And he didn't make it. There was a problem. And then they started getting like distress calls. So like Galnet News was reporting that there were distress calls being received. There was like a broken, garbled transmission. Like, the jump went wrong. I'm at here. Half a message, whatever. So it started this frenzy of people. Explorers were just out looking for, like, where did the station go? And like you said, man, that guy found it. And then they started a whole, the Jaunt to Jax. It was a big community goal type thing where they literally had people that were building sort of explorer hauler ships so they were doing a thing that you normally only do in your sort of explorer jumper ships. And they were doing it in ships to carry a ton of cargo out there. And like you said, they built it up through this community goal. It was overwhelming. The amount of participation was just incredible. And they built it into this sort of beautiful colony that for a while it was this sort of this pure dream of explorers. It was a land without a country. It was no flags. It was just a land that belonged to the explorers. And there was this sort of, there was this sort of beautiful time where they just were out there doing stuff. Nobody was killing anybody. They were out there. They were all cooperating and stuff. They were doing silly stuff like, they were doing conga lines of ships, and they would have cool things. They would work on things together. They invented sports. It was just a land that was owned by the explorers. Yeah. And then FDev came in and said, like, okay, we're going to support you by, bringing all of the bubble to you, and we're going to make this a second bubble. And in a way, it was sort of a beautiful dream died, but in a way, it also was, this is progress. This is what happened. It turns into another thing. And what it turned into is very cool too. It's not what it was. So like, they're both awesome things. For more information on this, for sure, hit up the Sagittarius Eye, article that talks about this whole thing, and look into the Jaunt to Jax. And then also check out our interview with Sue Vereen from Sagittarius Eye magazine and Lave Radio and Parallel Worlds, where he really talks at length about it, and it's super, super, super interesting.
I just want to thank you for going over the history of Jax there, because now I got to figure out what I'm going to do for lore next week, man.
Right on, man. Right on.
No, I actually was gonna cover him next week when we kind of got to the stations.
Oh, damn! I'm sorry, man. Well, you started talking about him, and then I just
No, that's kind of why I left him out to begin with. Fill in the blank next week. Oh well, no big deal.
All right.
Damn it, Kai. Anyway.
Hey, man, when you picked me up in front of that Home Depot, you said, "Are you willing to work?" And I said, "Yeah." So that's on you, bro.
Oh man. Well, the last thing I'll say about Colonia before we get into Elite Week is I've been out there twice, both times in my vet. The first time I stayed out there for about a day and wanted to come back. And I think that's about when they launched the Chieftain, and I wanted to go back and buy a Chieftain. But anyway, the second time I went out there, I stayed for about 3 months or so, and I loved it out there. It's different looking at different stars and the intensity of the stars, and how there's not really a dark space anywhere really, because you're kind of closer to the galactic core, so everything is just brighter, and the star density out there is just insane. Like around here, the average distance between stars is like, between 5 to 10 light years. Over there, it's like 1 or 2. So there's stars everywhere, and it is so beautiful out there.
Whenever I see footage for Colonia, I always think that it's like Colonia is like permanently being at Christmas time. It's just like the world is lit up in all these beautiful colors. And so every commander, every player out there, you owe it to yourself. Make the trip and go out there and just see it for yourself. And especially so if you really want to do it around Christmas time, man, I don't know, it just gets you.
It's funny you mentioned Christmas time, because I think the time I was out there and stayed was right around Christmas time. Yeah, because I remember like being at my friend's house and like, man, I really want to be here for Christmas. I really want to be home going through, exploring around Colonia and stuff. And it was a very interesting time. Number one in my life, and number two in the video game, or in the video game world of Elite. And man, it was so. The closer you get to the core and Sag A and all that, which the Colonia is still about, I think it's like 10,000 light years from Sag A, but it is beautiful. And it's actually, the actual system of Colonia is actually inside of a nebula. And it's just go there and spend, like, don't just go there and then leave like I did. Because I thought, what's the point of being here? This is dumb. I wasted all this time. The second time I went, I actually had the intention of staying there permanently. Like that was going to be my home and I was going to stay there. The only reason why I came back was because I got bored out there. I didn't really have friends that played the game, but my buddy Gunskill was looking at the game and considering buying it. I thought, well, if he buys it, I need to get back so I can help him out to start off with. And void opals were a thing, and I wanted to mine some void opals, so I had a crap ton of money. So I headed back, and I have kind of regretted it ever since, because I really wish I had stayed out there, because it is just beautiful out there. There's a small chance I may not come back this time. So, but anyway, that's going to take us down into Elite Week, sir.
All right. Well, let's get it started, people. Let's start off with Kai's question. So last week's Kai's question was, what movie, TV show, book, whatever, inspired your love of space flight stuff? And I've got, so for me, it was The Last Starfighter, and I included a link to the clip and Firefly. The clip from the end of Last Starfighter, and you got to see that clip. If you haven't seen The Last Starfighter in over 10 years, watch that clip and you'll be a little kid again, and you'll just get you going. Tracks was Star Wars, Star Trek, TNG, and Firefly. And Ty was the NASA launches from back in the day when they would TV set on the wheelie car kid, and Star Trek. So, Commander Jettis wrote in and said, Flight of the Navigator and the Explorers. Yes, I was born in the 80s. Commander Texarsis wrote in and said, Last Starfighter, Star Trek, TNG. Tweaked 74 says, Star Wars. I was 3 in 77 when I saw it for the first time. Totally captured my imagination. Then Battlestar Galactica, the original, and Firefly. 3 great answers. Lieutenant Commander Data said, TNG. Did I even need to answer? Which is like, yeah, duh. All right. Commander Chig wrote in and said, Star Wars and Star Trek, duh. But one that always stuck with me from my childhood, The Black Hole. And the weird part, I haven't rewatched it since then. And of course, Firefly, brown coat for life. Commander Edelweiss wrote in, of Lave Radio, wrote in and said, Buck Rogers in the 25th century, 2001, 2010, all of the Star Treks, Babylon 5, Firefly, too soon, The Expanse, basically all the things, give me more. Cruel Rabbit wrote in, by the way, this is interesting pairing here because we've got Commander Edelweiss, the well-known Lave Radio presenter, and right below him, Commander Cruel Rabbit, the guy who murked that fool last week. We've got all the obvious ones already stated by the others, but also Blake 7, Space 1999, the Tripods. Would love to see Thargoid Tripods. Lex, Flash Gordon, and Alien. Dr. Nagy wrote in to say, okay, my take, Star Wars, Star Trek, Andromeda, and Stargate. For Anna Barrick, it was Fireball XL5, and he included a link to a cool video of a Thunderbird style, little, I see that stuff now and I can't not think Team America. So Alec Turner wrote in and said, the usual, I guess, Star Wars, especially Han, Chewie, and the Falcon, Firefly, Trek, not so much, I'm afraid to say. Always found that a bit stuffy. And also Interstellar for the deep space stuff. Whenever I see an elite screenshot of a tiny ship barely visible as it crosses in front of a gas giant, the epic Zimmer soundtrack pops in my head. Oh, and yeah, also possibly the greatest sci-fi space scene ever filmed. And he linked a video, which I will make sure gets into the show notes, that has just like, oh man, you see the scene, and it's what's his name? McConaughey. All right. It's him flying, like they're there at the space station. It's that part where that one guy goes to do a thing and he's like taking a risk, and then it blows up, and the station starts to like lose its orbit, and it's spinning like ridiculously crazy fast and dropping into high orbit, and then it's going to go into low orbit, and then it's going to burn up, and basically that's going to be the end of humanity. And Matthew McConaughey is just like, all right, screw it, we got to do this. This is stupid. Suicide, but I'm gonna roll the dice and hope that that it comes up. I got it's like a lottery. It's like a 1 in a million chance that we can make this work, and he does it because they have to. And man, it is maybe one of the most epic scenes in all of movie history. Yeah, definitely go check that out. Commander DJ Wiley wrote in and said, my two favorites would be 2001: A Space Odyssey and more recently Interstellar. Interstellar getting a lot of love. Big Daddy GXX55 said, Starship Troopers. And Wotherspoon of Galnet News Digest fame wrote in to say, Blake's 7. That's the second call out for Blake's 7. Getting much love. Smokey Sampson says, apart from the usual Star Wars, Star Trek, one that sticks out for space combat is Space Above and Beyond. It's campy as hell, kind of bad special effects, but the fighter in it was the coolest in my mind. The old SA-43 Hammerhead, which those were like amazing fight. They had these really great scenes. It was in the early days of sort of CGI, whatever, but the ship looked super, super cool, and the combat scenes that they set up were awesome at the time. And he says, also, I think Babylon 5 needs a shout out because it's awesome. And you are correct, sir. Commander McPherson writes in to say, okay, so besides Star Wars and Star Trek movies, Flight of the Navigator, The Last Starfighter, Independence Day, and although it's not directly space-related, war games got me interested in computers where I play space sims, so it's relevant. For TV shows, Battlestar Galactica, the new version, Starbuck, need I say more, Doctor Who, Firefly for sure. Commander Fancy Moko just dropped Cosmos. And then he was just like, mic drop, and I'm out. And he's right. Commander Neo Dreadlord. I would say what made me fall in love with space and want to fly in space was equally Star Trek and Star Wars, and games like X-Wings, TIE Fighter kind of kept me going alongside the continuing evolving stories of Star Wars and Star Trek. And then I guess what I feel is closer to Elite Dangerous and its universe and influenced me more into wanting to fly in space was Babylon 5. And then, of course, Firefly. And as much as I struggled with initially, as we've all discussed, The Expanse. In keeping my dream of being in space alive. I know you asked which one, but being as an older guy, different shows have influenced me at different times as I've grown and changed throughout my life. So I guess no one show has influenced me the most, really. And I responded to him saying, dude, it's okay. For this one, pile it on, give me more. It's all good. Crash said, love Cosmos and love the old ones with Carl Sagan, the episodes. And those were amazing, for sure. Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson does an amazing Cosmos, but I'm sure that he would tell you that his favorite ones are with Mentor. I don't know if how many people know this or whatever, but Dr. Carl Sagan was a mentor to Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Yep. That's a beautiful, beautiful passing of the torch right there.
Yeah.
Lark Shuttle says, what got me into Space Sims was way back in the day. My dad had gotten me into Flight Simulator 4.0 made by Microsoft. Then one day in middle school, I borrowed the game X-Wing, Windows 95, and DOS from a friend. My love of sci-fi fantasy and most of all Sims grew from there to this day. Commander Roughneck 57 wrote, say, for me, it was a few things, but if I had to narrow it down, the movie that first made me excited about the concept of being in a ship traveling through space was the Disney movie called The Black Hole. It's about a research ship investigating a lost ship near the black hole. Something about the idea of exploring out in the middle of nowhere, with no safety net, just really clicked with me. The other thing was when I was 12, I met an Apollo 15 astronaut named Jim Irwin. He gave a presentation on his experiences that I lucked into the front row seat because I was one of the youngest people in attendance. He came up to me after to give me a signed picture. He was a super cool guy. But the thing that had me riveted was when he was describing standing on the moon. He said the gravity was lighter and it felt different after being weightless for the trip out. He said that at first he had a little vertigo and fear of stepping out onto the ladder. What if he had a leak in his suit? Or if he slipped off the step and fell, cracking his helmet? So since he was concerned about safety, he was staring at his feet all the way down to the surface. Just a few steps, but really, really stressful. But then when he was finally down and sure he wasn't going to float away, he said that part joke. He said that he looked up toward the horizon, above the horizon where his brain expected to see the moon. Instead, he saw the earth. When he was talking about that, there wasn't a sound in the theater. I just remember thinking this man in front of me stood on the moon and looked at us in the sky. How is that not the coolest thing ever? So yeah, those are my inspirations for wanting to go around in space. That's amazing.
I actually met Gene Cernan and this was years and years, like 10, 15 years ago, way back when I worked at Best Buy and actually worked on his computer for a little bit. But he has a very similar story. Gene Cernan was the last man to walk on the moon, by the way. And I'll be honest, I didn't recognize him at first, but I saw all these pictures in his study of because I'm in his house working on his computer, and he has all these pictures and stuff, and I see the name, and of course I recognize the name, but I did not recognize him, and I was like, it's like, oh, you got Gene Cernan's autograph. He kind of laughed and I said, yeah, I sure do. And then I kind of looked at my work order and I put it together. I was like, oh shit, you're Gene Cernan. And he has a very similar story about where he stepped off and looked up and saw the earth. And I remember when he told me that, it's like I read this in the show notes from Roughneck here, and I thought, man, that's one of the most amazing moments in my life was hearing this man talk about it. And I think Cernan was on Apollo 17, but it was 17 was the last mission, or was it 16?
I think it was 16 was the last. Yeah.
Was it 16? Yeah, he is the last the Earth. He's also he was a naval aviator for a number of years. He's a damn good pilot by all regards. He was also on the Gemini program. And I believe he was on Apollo 10 as well.
Yeah, man, all of those Gemini and Apollo guys were all a lot of them were Air Force pilots. A lot of them were Navy pilots, man. They were a special breed. They were just a very, very special breed.
Yeah. Gene Cernan died in, I believe, 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. Just a few years ago. Anyway, I didn't mean to break off on a tangent there. Sorry.
No, not at all. In fact, I'm gonna go with the story that you have. It's tickling something in my mind. It's sort of one of the most kind of like, ooh, it catches you moments that I've had in my life. I met Babe Heffernan, who was in Easy Company, 102nd Airborne. They were there for Normandy, the Battle of Bastogne, the whole 9 yards. They were the guys that charged up and took the Berchtesgaden. And, I met him and he's a little old guy, but it's like he literally still goes by the name Babe Heffernan because he was famous for it, because he was a baby face at the time. He was a young kid at the time in World War II. And it was a moment that profoundly sort of marked my life. And there's a lot of things where I think about it and it's like I mark it with, was that before or after I met Babe Heffernan? So yeah, I definitely get where you're coming from and and where Roughneck's coming from, because it's a profound thing when you meet somebody that sort of is a touchstone for how you sort of view time. Yeah, man. And also, and you talked about the passing. Let's give a quick shout out and have a little sip in honor of Dr. Dyson, who just passed. The theoretical mathematician who had come up with the Dyson sphere idea. Yeah, he passed this week. Okay.
Sidebar about the Dyson sphere, that episode called Relics of Next Generation that actually it was the last time Scotty appeared on a Star Trek anything before his death. And they actually were on a Dyson sphere in that episode. And that's the first time I ever heard about it was that Star Trek episode. And then shortly after that, I went and found a book about it and read about Richard Dyson and stuff. And man, it's so weird, the things in your life that kind of spin you toward different things and you don't even realize they're happening,
100%.
Anyway, I'm done digesting now, so
no problem. So Gav Cooks writes in to say the Thunderbird, Battle of the Planets, Battlestar Galactica, etc. And I've always read a lot of science fiction from childhood, even though there's a ton of great sci-fi to watch. Books are where it's really at. Neil Asher, Peter F. Hamilton, Greg Bear are just a few of my favorite authors. I'm going to add Ian M. Banks to that list. And of course, Commander Alacron wrote in to say, how the universe works, Star Talk. Oh man, that Star Talk is just amazing. The universe. And of course, Firefly, Surrender. I know this one's Kai's, but there was no way that I couldn't leave it out of my inspirations. All good, brother. Papa Beans wrote in to say, Dark Star, the loneliness of deep space, far from home, with no hope of rescue in any case of emergency, doing a tedious job, immensely long periods of sound familiar, in a grungy, dirty old ship. Really liked it. In fact, I recall writing a game in BASIC on an Acorn Atom circa 1981. Where you had to travel to two different systems just to blow up unstable stars. Thanks for this question, Kai. I hadn't thought about that in years. Oh, and let there be light. And then he puts a link to a video of basically a situation where, kind of a 2001 situation, the ship kind of goes nuts and it just decides like that it's God, and then starts quoting stuff from the Bible and then says, let there be light, and takes off and leaves the guy out in space by his lonesome. It's some crazy shit. Check it out. This week's Kai's question. Okay, this one's going to be different. Listen very carefully because there are strict rules for this one. Okay? You need to share one, only one this week. Some weeks I'll tell you it's okay to have more. This week is a one only because it's got to be unique. So share one unique recommend in the Elite Dangerous community. And then for bonus points, go and give that thing that you recommend here a review. Give it a 5-star on iTunes, or click on it in Spotify, or click on it on YouTube and write a comment and give it a like, or if it's a stream, whatever it is, give it some kind of love officially here. So we're all going to call out our one thing. That's why it has to be unique, because if I just say 9,000 things, then everybody else is like, well, I got nothing to say now. So everybody gets to pick just one. Now, this can be a podcast, excluding us. We just assume that you like us because you're hearing us. But anyone else, any other podcast, It could be a YouTube channel. It could be a Twitch channel. It could be music written by an awesome composer. You know, you can listen to an album or a song if you call out from a composer. It could be a written book, a magazine, a blog. It could be, a Discord. It could be a club like the Buckyball Racing Club or AXI or Operation Ida. It could be, it could be a program if you want to call out like, hey, mine is EDDB.io or mine is, EDSM, the app, or EDMC or whatever, but something in the Elite Dangerous community. And I'm making a special request for community content creators to get involved and submit the cross love. I'm talking to you, Lave Radio. I'm talking to you, Wotherspoon. I'm talking to you, Alec. Why am I blanking now? Alec, holy crap. How am I blanking on his name? I talk to him 15 times a day, and he's one of my favorite people on the planet.
It's not me, is it?
I'm having a stroke.
Talking about Sue?
Alec Turner, duh.
Oh, yeah, Alec.
Oh,
yeah,
my
yeah,
God.
yeah.
I'm talking to you, Sagittarius Eye, and SPVFA, and the Burr Pit, and Exegius, and Down to Earth Astronomy, and all the people that I love. I want to see who Wotherspoon shows love to, who Alec Turner shows love to, who Sovereign shows love to. So call it out. It has to be unique. So I want to see this thing fill up with hundreds and hundreds of awesome recommendations of heartfelt things where you get to hear like, oh my God, the Lave Radio guy loves this thing, or oh my God, the Galnet guy loves this thing. So my personal choice, because I'm starting off first, I'm going to say it's Galnet News Digest and Commander Wotherspoon. I had to pick just one, and it's so hard because I've got a list of 1,000 in my head. But I wanted to get in first with that because I think that is the single best. Commander Wotherspoon to me is just the best of them. So much love to Commander Wotherspoon and Galnet News Digest. Hit us up, Ty. What's yours?
Man, this is going to be like the it's not really a unique recommend, but I'm going to have to throw it in there. It's going to be Lave Radio. Those guys, I have been I'm like their biggest fan, and I get kind of giddy whenever I get to talk to any one of those guys. I don't know.
Not only do I get it, but I literally, when you said, man, I just started typing Lave Radio because I knew it was coming. I knew, like, we didn't set this up. I had not checked with you. Yep. I knew it was going to be Lave Radio. Yep. And I completely get it, man. I completely get it.
So I also have a guilty pleasure I want to mention too.
Oh, so you literally, okay, look, here's the deal. No one else can break this rule. If you want to break this rule, you have to be the guy who started Loose Screws podcast. So one guy gets to break the rule, and it's only Ty, and everyone else, you're limited to one.
Yes.
Go ahead, Ty. What's your number two?
So, and if someone replicates this one, it's this one here. I have a little guilty pleasure of watching her YouTube videos, and that's Colo. Hello, it's Colo. Her YouTube channel. I like watching her YouTube videos because she just makes me laugh with how excited she gets, or how, like, when she ran out of fuel and beats herself up, I just laughed out through the whole episode. She ran out of fuel and had to call a fuel rat live during the stream. It just made me laugh so much. And then there's that whole thing where she saw Earth from the first time and saw her home. It kind of got all teary-eyed and stuff. So
no, man. So first off, I'm going to just jump in there and just take that away from you. That can't be a guilty pleasure. That has to be a say it with pride pleasure. I love Hello, It's Colo. She's awesome. She raised like 18,000 pounds for Game Blast for the charity stream that just happened. Yeah, man, sure, her stuff is great. Yeah, that should not be a guilty pleasure. That should be a thing that you are super, super proud of, because Colo is just a great person, and yeah, like awesome. So, all right. So mine is, and I'm going to actually stick to the rule I did not get to start Loose Screws Podcast Network. So I get just one, and I say Galnet and Commander Watherspoon, who is Galnet News Digest. So that's still one. And Ty, with his cheater mode, gets Lave Radio and it's cold. So let's hear from you guys. And Ty, just by the way, since you went in cheater mode and you thought of two, I already gave a 5-star and a thumbs up and a recommendation on Galnet. So you have to go now to Lave Radio on iTunes or Spotify or whatever, and you have to go to Hello It's Cold on her stream and give it a like or a sub or do something. You have to give it love now. And
I've actually already done that, but yeah.
Let's hear from all of you guys. All right. So we're going to skip the pro tip this week because we're going to run late. So here we go. Getting into Elite Week. Friday, February 28th, 2020. We got Hutton Orbital Radio Podcast recorded live the previous night. We talked about Operation A Hot Mess, which is now exactly this second. It is sitting at 67.56% of the systems have a. Wait. Okay, 71.79% of all stations have them. I was going to say that number is wrong because 70. So 71.79% of all stations have a mug, and 67.56% of systems have a mug in every station. So there's some systems that still need mugs, but they've already they're very close to 3/4 of the galaxy right now. And that is an awesome, like we said before, awesome sense. So they talked about ECM 20, which is sold out. They talked about the 1-year anniversary of the biggest fuel rat rescue in history, February 23rd, 2019 on Earth, 3305 in the galaxy. Operation Beyond the Dark Edge. It was beyond Semitis Beacon. It was a weeks-long operation, and the rescue was live streamed. It was historic. They talk about Drew Wagar retires from the forums for now because of an out-of-line moderator. They talked about Papa Claps member had mugs on him for delivery, but he lived, so it's okay. Otherwise, that would have been a sad state of affairs. They talked about Spider-Man games. Great success. They talked about the lack of news in the galaxy. Talked about the Buckyball Racing Club and Elite Racers co-sponsored event of the Cortez Base Challenges. There's 2 separate challenges, but they are open their own forms. Go do them. They talked about the Hutton Does CQC Sundays. Know that. Who is it that I know? I thought there was somebody. I forgot, but there was somebody that was interested in CQC. Whatever. They talked about Watherspoon, gave us a shout out for the podcast at the end of the episode, which was just amazing. Watherspoon with his powerful people, Zina Torval. Yeah, I'm still reeling over the fact that he talked about her how she likes her grape with hot peppers or whatever, and that's what gives her the lips that frown, that anus-like pucker, which was yeah, man, that was a thing that he said, and
yeah,
my brain sort of just melted a bit. All right, so you can check them out. All of the links are in the show notes, but you can get them in YouTube. We've got their podcast link. Go see them live, twitch.tv/HuttonTruckers. Yeah, I mean, they're just the best. All right. Space Hero put out high-grade emissions respawn trick, 5-minute video. Space Hero, which is DJ Wiley on our Discord server. Go check that out. Again, I'm going to say this once now because I've beginning. All of the links for everything I'm going to say in here in the show notes, go get them in the show notes. I'm going to say it once at the beginning and once at the end, and save saying it 10,000 other times. Okay, the community event, the Crazy Colonia Corrosive Cargo Caravan that we talked about last week is still going. It is ongoing from February 15th to the 1st of April. Go check it out. We've got Flintlock Engineering put out his a new episode 7 in his series. This one is Railguns and PAs. So if you've ever been interested in exactly how they work, the different sizes, all of the different engineering effects, go check it out. The Burr Pit put out Which Space News, February 28th, FDev live stream schedule and more. Minute-long video. He talks about being now that we're in a post 24-hour live stream world, we're still awaiting the fleet carrier announcement. He talks about the 24-hour live stream, including the art Mamba that hints at space legs. He talked about the Buckyball Racing Club and Elite Racers co-sponsored challenges at Ross Racing at the Cortez base, and the awesome Toko So album that just dropped last week. And then he put out the Thargoid Report, 3-minute long video. Again, go and subscribe to that so you can get it fresh as it comes out. All right. So Saturday, February 29th, Down to Earth Astronomy put out a 14-minute long video. I build the SRV from Elite Dangerous Space Program. This is 3 or 4 of a series, man. He's really going in depth on making a full SRV in Kerbal, and he's doing it not just something that looks like it. He's doing something that follows the all of the rules of it. So it was a big deal. This one, like the whole thing, was pretty much just trying to figure out how to. In that game, it's incredibly precise how you have to set up your mass, sort of manage your center of mass with regard to sort of booster rockets and whatever. First, like, he kept trying all different things, and it's just like the SRV would just immediately flip over as soon as he took off. So he had to figure it out, but he did. He got there in the end, and he made it fly, and it was awesome. So Sunday, the 1st of March, Commander Spatula, he is back. He's got his series Elite Dangus, and this one's called Shinrata Gimkata. And you just have to check it out. I mean, I don't know for people who aren't familiar with the series, he does an amazing, super, super sort of like high quality series of videos that are hilarious and interesting and compelling all at the same time. And in this one, he's searching for Galnet. He wants to find out where it's at. And he plays a ton of cool music from Commander Toko So's new album. So that is a must see. Go to YouTube and look for Commander Spatula. I think he's actually in YouTube, Spatula 007. So go check it out. Rusty Dog was sick, so no Rusty Dog stream this week. Hopefully we'll get, or last week. Hopefully we'll get it this week. On Monday, these weirdos, the Loose Screws podcast, they put out an interview in the interview series with Commander Burr and Rainey, and that was an amazing interview because Rainey are amazing people, and it's the only podcast in Elite Dangerous history that was interrupted with a donkey attack, and I'm going to leave it at that. But I mean, it's unique in that no one else can claim that. Lave Radio cannot claim that. We are number one in podcasts that also feature heavily a donkey attack. So I just want that on the record.
Now, hold on a minute. That's not what they're called.
A honky donk.
Honky donk. Yeah, honky donk.
So for the uninitiated, for who have not yet heard the interview, they don't know what that is. So I had to explain it. Once people have heard the interview, of course they're going to know it's a honky donk. Come on. All right. So then we had Hello Dave, episode 138. He talks about the Toko So album. Everyone was talking about it this week because it's amazing and it's awesome, and you should go check it out. He talks about the YouTube comments. We listed the Toko So album last week, so that's why I don't have it listed this week. But it is awesome. It's worth a second listing, so go. He talks about the YouTube comments review process was being changed. So if you have like a favorite YouTuber and you go on there, sometimes if you say like really nasty stuff, there was an algorithm and it would flag it, certain words or certain whatever, and it would flag it and say like, okay, we're going to hold back this comment. The YouTuber has to actually hear it or listen to it or read it, whatever, and then approve it before it gets to show up, which is fine. And that's been the way that it always was. But something's happened recently where YouTube's algorithm, they're tweaking it and it's going a little screwy, because he was seeing pages and pages, like hundreds of things where like YouTube had pulled it and said, like, we're not posting this until you manually say it's okay. And the comment was like, love your video, your work is great. And he's like, okay, well, that's weird. Something off is happening. And he talks about his live stream schedule coming up. Speaking of live streams, the Elite Dangerous live stream on today was a Let's Play. It was an awesome fireside chat with Steve Benedetti. And did I just say Steve? Steven Benedetti. And yeah, man.
It's not just your keyboard that corrects you; it's you that corrects you.
Yeah, I don't know. So every time I try to like, I literally will be on the side of the road somewhere or whatever, and I'm just playing it on my phone, and I'm typing in my key, on my phone, and I type in, or I will say into it, like dictate into it, Steven. And it comes out Steven, and I've even like set it up to Stephen, and it will like correct it to Steven. And I don't know, man. I give up. And now I just literally did it myself, like actually as a human. So I guess I am just bowing down to our robot. All
right, look. Here's the deal. We just got to tell Benedetti his new name is not Steven. It's Steven.
That's very American of it.
That's just how it is.
We run shit now, so
that's right. That's right. This look.
I do not endorse that statement. I was saying it as a bad joke. All right.
Look, no, hold on. In the immortal words of God, what if I just blanked on his damn name? It's contagious, man. Step Brothers guy. We're here to fuck shit up.
Mm-hmm. You talking about Will Ferrell?
Will Ferrell. Thank you.
Yes. All right. So, but Stephen Benedetti ended that live stream with an awesome sort of unique commercial for the Loose Spruce podcast. He was like, yeah, like we got like 9 shout outs in it. It was crazy. And he literally is like, oh yeah, you got to go check out the interview with Bird and Rainey and yada, yada. And he was like, yeah. So that was cool. Sidewinder Slaughter happened every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's repeated Wednesdays at 8 p.m. UTC time. So America time, it's 8 o'clock for me, 7 o'clock for Ty, 6 o'clock for people that live wherever on the other side, and then 5 o'clock California IA people, and ye old Englandy and Europe type people. It's Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. UTC. Tuesday, Space Hero put out a video squashing Thargoid scavengers, a minute-long video. This is literally just, he went to a barnacle site, planet, in an anaconda, and then just like flew around and got all the little Thargoid drones all excited, and then just, for some reason, just belly flopped and squished bunches of them with his anaconda. Space. Guard Frequency Podcast, number 297. They talk about Drew Wagar versus the Out of Line Forum moderator. They talk about the lack of Galnet. They talk about Star Citizen power-up foods. Just no, man. Just stop. This is dumb shit. Giving yourself busy work so that you don't finish your project and put out a spaceship game. You're literally going to not have a spaceship game out before we're in real spaceships out there. This is why geniuses need to be in the corner working on their genius shit, and grown-ups need to be in charge. Put the brother in charge of Star Citizen. They talk about the Descent lawsuit, Little Orbit versus Descent, and the countersuit that may save the day. I don't know if people are aware of this, but the guys that made the game Descent, they reached out at the very end, like the last round of funding, to this company called Orbit, Little Orbit reached out to them. They decided that they were going to be the publisher of Descent, and then they didn't say anything through like the whole process where Descent was sending them updates and like here's what we're doing, and then at the very end they were like, yeah, we've got publishing rights to your game and we don't like it. Change this, and this, and make it that. Just out of nowhere, they started making just ludicrous demands. Change the whole thing and make it how we want. And these are guys that came on at like the 5-yard line. They were not supposed to be doing this. And then literally, okay, all of this is allegedly, so I don't get sued, whatever. And then they allegedly, theoretically, whatever, then held it up. And now the game has been in limbo for years now and hasn't been able to come out. But Little Orbit finally sued Descent, and Descent, the makers of Descent, are countersuing Little Orbit back and saying like, no, you actually owe us money. And once this is all done, the guy, Tony, Guard Frequency, seems to feel like there's a chance that we could actually get a very cool game that people have seen the game and it's awesome, but they're not allowed to put it out for sales. Whatever. And also, this is a blanket warning to anyone who listens to my advice and goes to Guard Frequency to listen to their podcast. If you hear the word Picard and you care, immediately pause the podcast or do yourself a favor.
No spoilers for me.
Yeah. Immediately do yourself a favor. Do not ever go and listen to the Guard Frequency podcast until after you've watched Picard for that week, because they just talk about it openly. So watch Picard first and then go enjoy Guard Frequency podcast because it's amazing. Okay. GuardFrequency.com. Check it out. The Burr Pit put out Space Legs, but why? A 12-minute long video. This video is amazing and is a must-watch. This is for sure our discussion topic or this week. He talks about, okay, let's look at what we know. What can Space Legs be? And he breaks it down into 3 things. Inside the ship, outside the ship in space, or outside the ship at a location, planet side or in a station. So inside the ship, what can Space Legs be? It's walking around the ship, so that's manually loading rare goods. That could be actually cool. I don't want to manually. That should just stay at rare goods. That could be they could make a neat gameplay loop. Some engineering ideas where it's like, hey, the next level of engineers or whatever, you have to actually walk around in your ship and like pull off a panel and do a little mini game in order, and also supply materials that whatever. Engineering on the ship using Space Legs and internal repairs, kind of a similar deal. So it could be what's outside the ship. It could be EVAs. It could be going around on generation ships, neat stuff that you find. Outside the ship, planet side, or in a station. More engineering and trade ideas. Thargoid first-person shooters, which, look, here's the thing. Some people are going to love that, and God bless. Go enjoy that. I don't want to, just because I don't want it, doesn't that other people enjoy it. So, yeah. Guardian site. You could go to a Guardian site and play out your Indiana Jones fantasy. It'd be cool. Expanded SRVs, for troop insertions or different kinds of things you can do with an SRV. And also the underlying infrastructure and code base would need a refresh, that will basically make the game better for everyone. Yeah. So the pilot put out a video, 7-minute long video, talking about the Crusader. I left him a comment saying, I don't know how the hell you do this, but you made me want to buy a ship trashed. Like, he literally is like, the ship is awesome, but it sucks. But I mean, it's awesome, but it's not good. And it's like, I have to go buy that now, even though you trashed it. Like, that guy's got a gift, man.
The pilot is the biggest asshole and making me buy ships that I don't want. And I mean that with all the love in my heart, but I went and bought a Mamba because of this guy. I don't even like the damn thing. I ended up selling it, but I don't even like the damn thing. I went and bought a Fer-de-Lance because, man, like, number one, it was like, the dub was like, man, you gotta get you a Fer-de-Lance, get it all pumped up. And then I watched the pilot video, and man, here he is. Look at the Fer-de-Lance. Look all the cool shit you can do. Look at this battle. And I'm like, oh my God, I want to do these things. And I get the Fer-de-Lance, and oh my God, I am not that good at this game.
Yeah, the pilot is amazing. That guy, he's just He's just very, very, very cool. All right. Sagittarius Eye put out a travel birthplace of humanity. A minute long video talking solar system. And anything that Sagittarius Eye ever does is just absolutely top notch. So don't go there. Don't subscribe to their channel. Then you don't deserve cool stuff that they do. All right. So Lave Radio put out episode 282, introducing the congestion charge. I don't even know if Americans are going to get this joke. So in London, there's a congestion charge where like they literally charge you extra money to go to like drive into London and to do stuff from London because it's like, no. We don't want people. So it was a joke on how Shan is these like great ways to just punish the player base. They said that the congestion charge of, how can we screw people up? Shan is for. All right. So in that episode about Stephen Benedetti confirms that David Braben is not taken over by Thargoids or a rogue AI or lizard people. He's also not a lizard person or a lizard in a human. Talk about Bruce Garrido, who's joining Elite as a community manager and today's live stream. And Rotostrat asks, so are there not going to be any more bug fixes before Fleet Carrier? The answers to them. In-game events that happened this week. Operation Ida returned to the prettiest station in the bubble, Titan's Daughter in Keta, which was the casual, primetime casuals, amazing casual galaxy. They talk about the AXI. Although there are no new incursions or infestations, there are plenty of Thargoids available. There's cool stuff happening in the Pleiades and the Witchhead Nebula. They talk about Commander Avasu Siu has some excellent AXI videos, which have shown the anti-Xeno initiatives curbing the alien menace. And the main discussion topic is Elite Dangerous dead? Spoiler alert, the answer is no. So the community corner, they talk about Monkey Ball stuff. They talk about Spider-Man games. $1.133 million. Holy cow. They talk about Operation Hot Mess. They talk, the shout outs, obviously they shout out radio. They shouted at us. They shouted at CQC. Yeah, man. And they played my stupid song at the beginning of the episode and again at the end of the episode. So yeah, the Adelside video. Yeah, there's that. Just good. The only thing that wasn't good in that Lave Radio episode was my singing. All right. At the end of which was Galnet News Digest, 25th of February, 3306. DBOBE, which is David Braben, Order of the British Empire. I remembered it. Yes, you're supposed to say that because he was apparently the Queen every year gets to pick somebody and multiple people and be like, you're kind of excellent. And then you get OBE after your name, which is awesome. And I think more people should do that. Anyways, they talk about David Braben, OBE is a lizard. He talks about Fleet Carrier announcement overhype. At this point, anything less than our own personal Death Stars will be a letdown. He talks about the Braberverse. You're gonna have to go hear that. He's got this story about how in an alternate universe where David Braben hasn't been kidnapped by Thargoids and held at ransom. We've already had fleet carriers for 2 years, but his idea there is that Tharg is holding David Braben hostage, which is why no one's seen him. And Tharg says that if we release fleet carriers, he's going to kill David Braben. So just hilarious. Eddie Leyway commercial helmet butter, which is again just cracking on Edelweiss for being a perv. And this last story, I don't know, is just a dirty, dirty tabloid rag full of lies and innuendo. Slander. Apparently, there is a Commander Tirval Worsham who is a spy for the Pilots Federation, and he has a nuclear-powered AI robot that is dispensing micro doses of onion head around the galaxy in order to make people happy and enjoy Elite Dangerous. And that's a story to check out. And then he talks about the Distant Screws edition, which he just like, I don't know, I think he rhymed for like 5 minutes solid on Distant Screws and get your booze cruise and you lose your blues and you know which cruise to choose. It was like, whoa, that was cool. So much love to Wotherspoon for giving our little expedition such an awesome shout out. And every time that Wotherspoon roasts me, I always laugh like cry. That guy is just amazing. And Ty, you got called out by name and personally roasted well. So why don't you tell how you feel?
When I first heard about this, I was like, man, I'm nervous about it. But after I went and listened to it, I decided that the programming of my Kai AI went perfectly. So,
okay. All right. Yeah. So we both love you, and you can continue to roast us whenever you like. Just roast us whenever there's no news. If there's actual news, then fill it up with good stuff. But if you have no news, feel free. We'll be your punching bags. And all right. So Down to Earth Astronomy put out a Tuesday stream, Engineering the Blunderbuss 2.0, 2.5 hour long. He does some awesome stuff with that, and you go check it out. Which brings us to Wednesday, 4th of March, 2020, 3306 in the verse. This was the single best piece of news that happened all week, and for my money, all year in the calendar. This is better than fleet carriers. This is better than the 2020 paid update. Dr. K. Ross tweeted at Dr. K. Ross, at DRKAYROSS, all no spaces, saying that she will be staying on at Frontier Development. And we just want to give you all the love and support that we can, and hope that you stay with Elite for many years to come and continue to make awesome, amazing things like the Stellar Forge. I know that right now Dr. K is lead renderer, so is working on graphic stuff, and I'm sure we're about to see a bunch of new awesome toys that she made for us in the coming year. But just when you have a genius like that is like sort of next level, that can make something like the Stellar Forge, when it comes time to come out with some, just melt your brain new shit, next level, that's the kind of person you're going to hit up. That Dr. K. Ross, David Braben, on the lore side, you've got guys like Brooks. There's a handful of people that there would be on the Mount Rushmore dangerous, and her definitely one of them. So we love you, Kay, and hopefully you'll be around for a long time. Right. So Exigeous put out a special event, the GoFundMe conclusion with Jerry Ferris. I'm going to give you a direct quote from Alec Turner. Okay, Jerry just broke me completely. Exigeous asked him, what was the hardest or most frustrating thing to do in Elite? And he said, completely matter of fact, nothing is hard. Holy fuck. Nobody ever gets to complain about Elite ever again. That is a beautiful thing, man. Also, later in that video, they had news. Jerry is starting a YouTube channel about gaming with voice controls for people at various levels of physical abilities. So he's going to start a whole YouTube channel, about how you can, different people of different levels of, physical capacity as far as, moving around and controls and what, can do it. So if this guy can start a YouTube channel, if he can create, if he can go out there and overcome any adversity and do something awesome, you can too. Don't let it stop you. All right. Massively OP put out another Galnet thing. Frontiers tells ED fans there are no plans to return other lore initiatives to the game. That's sort of half the story. I mean, yes, if you pull a direct quote, it was an unfortunate sort of that said, we have no plans to return Galnet or CGs or Cell initiatives this time. If that changes, we'll let you know. Which, yes, if you take it completely literally, it sounds very bad, but I think everyone is sort of focusing on I'm focusing on the at this time, which is like, yeah, of course, we knew we're going to be waiting until they get the current round of stuff done. Come out. Yes, I'm sorry, Souverine will probably say I'm white knighting, but I honestly think that it was just a bad turn of phrase, but that's just me. All right. Down to Earth Astronomy put out pattern obelisk data, easy and fast. A 4-minute long video of how you can get that data real quick. Which brings us to today, the record day, March 5th. Commander Burr with Thursday Breakfast Club, doing BGS and chatting. Very lovely comments about his interview with us, how he and Rini, had a great time with us. And also about how both he and Rini are super, super awesome. Week full of extra work as all of England is panic buying everything that's in any way like hand sanitizer, mask. They're just in full on preparation for the zombie apocalypse mode with this whole coronavirus thing. And and of course, he talks about his amazing video from this week. And you should go check it out because it's a full awesome conversation. Obsidian Ant put out 3306. No plans to bring back Galnet, CGs or I. Again, he has sort of a similar take to the OP, massively OP article. And again, I disagree with his interpretation on this, with an exception, because he does redeem it at the end where he says, well, either that, maybe it's not coming back, or what if it's not coming back because they've got something better, like newer, whatever. So instead of Galnet, a Galnet 2.0, as you've previously said, Ty, instead of CGs or IIs, what if they have some new system where there's constantly, 10 of them, multiple things, there's multiple tracks and more in depth. So yeah, he talks about the next patch will be fleet carriers and bug fixes together. So there's not going to be any bug fix patch pre-fleet carrier. He talks about the Drew Wagar live stream that is happening, that literally happened 2 hours ago. And he talked about Commander Spatula's Elite Dengus video series. Exegious Friends on Thursday came out today. Welcome Sidewinder Radio, an hour and a half. Sidewinder Radio, as we told you last week, is an awesome Elite Dangerous radio channel that 20 hours a day puts out radio, puts out full songs and stuff, and has little Elite Dangerous themed commercials. Check that out. All right. Which brings us to the FDev stream today. So this is the Thursdays. This was introducing the new community manager, Bruce. First off, the guy looks like Tom Welling from Smallville. So I dub him now the super community manager. He's newish to Elite. He was the community manager for Old School RuneScape. The 3 questions that people always ask are always answered the same and answer the same this week, which is no news now. We will tell you as soon as we can. And those 3 questions were fleet carriers. How about fleet carriers? Maybe fleet carriers? And the 2020 paid update. What do you know about that? Give us all your leaks on that. Break your contract and, end your career. Tell us about it. And, Galnet, CGs, IIs, when, whatever. And it's like, look, they've answered these 3 questions. When there's a new answer, they will definitely let us know. All right. Now we get to the meat of the thing. 13 minutes and 42 seconds into the video, somebody asked the question, Bruce, what are your thoughts on fleet carriers? And I'm going to give you a direct quote. You can go to 13 minutes and 42 seconds into this video and hear it for yourself. But while Stephen Benedetti is busy in the middle of a dogfight with his chieftain, Bruce answers this way. So, Bruce, your thoughts on fleet carriers? They are awesome. They're going to have a massive, massive impact on the game, like very fundamentally sort of change the way you guys sort of play together and with each other. And the systems it introduces are super, super exciting and novel. So like I said, as he gives this answer, Steven was dogfighting, and then you immediately see Steven's face tenses up, and he goes through this whole series of micro expressions that are like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So I'm going to read that back again. So Bruce, your thoughts on fleet carriers? They are awesome, and they're going to have a massive, massive impact on the game, like very fundamentally sort of change the way you guys sort of play together and with each other. And the systems it introduces are super, super exciting and novel. Okay? So, yeah. And at that point, the sort of the blood had drained from Steven's face. And at that point, if you would put a lump of coal up his backside, I'm sure you would have pulled about a diamond about 10 seconds later. He was definitely under some pressure there. Then there was a little pause, and he changed tact. I think Bruce realized, like, ooh, I'm in deep waters here. I'm going to change tact. And he's like, yeah, that's basically my thoughts for the time being. And and Steven immediately laughed, kind of an awkward laugh, and Bruce laughed. It was both nervous laughter, like, ha, we didn't say anything. No, nothing. No, we didn't announce anything at all. As soon as Bruce sort of bailed out of the question, Steven immediately sort of unclenched, and it was like, okay, all right. But before that, there was this moment on Steven's face where it was like, oh, we're off to the gulag now. But no. But yeah, that answer right there made me super interested. New systems that are coming, like that are going to fundamentally change the gameplay. With all these interviews we've been having, we've been asking all these people, like, hey, what do you think about fleet carriers? And the answers have been, some people are like, man, they're going to be massive, groundbreaking, whatever. But a lot of people have answered like, this is a vanity item. This is nothing, whatever.
Not really
that
interested
answer,
in stuff like that.
That answer, man, I've played that answer like 8 times, and I literally dictated it word. And when you hear that answer that he gave there, man, I think he tipped his hand, and I think fleet carriers are going to be bigger than people are thinking. But we'll see. We'll find out soon, I think.
I mean,
all right, go ahead.
This is something that we might want to talk about next week is if we don't hear anything out of it, like we should get Trax in here and maybe Dubs in here, and maybe a couple of others, and we'll just kind of brainstorm, like, what do we think the systems could be? Maybe we do that next week, because I want to drill on that a little bit while I think about it. I watched the stream live today, but I had to get up twice for work stuff, and I think I missed this one, and I missed the other one at 45 minutes too. So
yeah, well, we're going to definitely get to that one as well. So everyone, you go out there, pull up that stream, go to the 13 minute and 42 second mark, and you tell me what you hear, because what I hear is a lot of excitement, and it's putting excitement in me. I'm ready to go, man. All right. So then he describes the beginner guide that he's using. He's talking about he's using a guide to start himself off, and I totally recognize that guide just by him starting to describe the different steps he's doing. I'm like, oh, he's using the Hawks Gaming Guide. That's awesome. Go check out the Hawks Gaming Guide for yourself. It is good stuff. That is literally the guide that I used when I started. Well, it's not now because he has an updated version that leans on the low temperature diamonds. The original version that I did was back on full spec thing. And it's the guide that got me to Elite in under 20 hours. So then Stephen has, okay, I'm just going to throw this out there. This is the thing that happened. Stephen announced that he has a Spider-Man mask in his flat somewhere in his apartment. And you're going to have to go check out the stream to find out why. But I encourage everyone next week at the live stream, Stephen's not going to be there for the Monday one, but on Thursday, ask him about his Spider-Man mask. Let's all flood him with questions about that and have him, what the hell's... Okay. Also, he shouted out our Loose Screws podcast like times. It was awesome. And then we get to the 44-minute and 58-second mark where I was being cheeky and asked Stephen, like, hey, if we promise to play nice, can you let us interview Bruce? We'll be gentle. We'll be nice. We'll play well. And Stephen says that he wants to come on the Screws podcast for which I was like, yeah, okay, for sure.
Yes, fuck yeah.
Let's do this. Like,
yes.
This was the exact. So Stephen, will you let Bruce come to have a chat with the Loose Screws podcast if we promise to be nice? Stephen's response: of course, I want to come on the Loose Screws podcast and have a chat as well. So we are both more than happy. I know that you will always play nice with us and you look after us. So let's get that sorted. I would love to come and do a show with you guys, which I have sent him a message and let this serve as notice. Oh, we're calling your bluff, sir. Come join us and let's have some fun. What do you think, Papa Ty?
I think that having him on the show, I think what he needs to do is actually come to America and then let me buy him beer, and then I can put him into my dungeon and find out when the hell we're getting fleet carriers and what's up with the 2020 update.
Wow, bro. Wow,
okay, I won't actually put him in my dungeon if he comes to America, but you should come to America and I will totally buy you American beer and we can hang out and stuff.
Yeah, and he totally won't put you in his dungeon and then demand to see your Spider-Man mask. Which, hey, man, no, King Shaman, whatever, it's all. All right, so they talked about that next week it will be Will and Shantae doing the live stream, so that'll be awesome. All right, Commander Avasu Siu, the new AXI director. There's a week full of challenge ranks. Octotharg Kill, got a link in there. He is the new guy at AXI, and he's got this video that has like the weekly roundup of AXI stuff, the weekly debrief. It's super, super cool. Check it out. And lastly, well, second to last, the last that I have details on, Drew Wagar put out his live stream, The Meta of Salome and Elite Dangerous, 2.5 hours long. Sadly, I did not get a chance to watch that. I have it queued up. I literally have it paused as one of the videos on my second screen. Second we're done with the show, I am going to check out. And then the last thing is Hutton Orbital today. Again, I didn't get to check this out because I got home from work and we just literally got ready and got started on the show. So it'll be a complete surprise to me tomorrow when I hear the podcast and get to hear it. I did not get to see it, unfortunately. All right. The Thargoid report is there's nothing to report. It's the same thing as last week. We have beaten Tharg for now. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens next. And that wraps up Elite Week.
Well, good deal, man. I don't think I have anything else. I think that's going to bring us to a close. You have anything else, Bubba?
No, brother, just be excellent to each other.
Yep. You can find all of our ways to contact us at loosescrewsed.com. I am Ty Worsham, Commander Tyrville. You can get me on Twitter at Tyrville. I don't check Twitter very often. Always just get on our Discord at tinyurl.com/loosescrewspodcast. If you have any questions, email us at loosescrewsquestions@gmail.com. Again, you can get all of this at our loosescrewsed.com. If you are not on Distant Screws, come on Distant Screws. We are having a blast. And I'll be honest with you, I kind of don't want to podcast. I kind of want to go fly my spaceship and do Distant Screws. So that's what I'm about to go do, man. So,
And I'm at Kai19103 on Twitter.
yeah. I didn't say that. I'm an asshole for not saying that.
No, that's okay. That's okay. And come check out our YouTube, which is amazing. You can just find it through the Loose Screws
The website. Yeah.
website. Yeah, and it links right through to there. Come check all of that out. And we look forward to seeing you. As Ty said, it is not too late. This expedition is going on for 2 months. So you could sign up a week from now or even 2 weeks from now and come down. So put yourself a exploration ship and come on out and get screwy with us.
Yeah. And next year we won't be doing Distant Screws next year. Next year we'll be doing Deep Screws.
That one makes me nervous. It's like you're inviting me beers in the basement.
Yeah, this is why you need to come to my dungeon, man.
Yeah. Take a pass on that one. All right, guys. Have a great night.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. See you guys next time.